Mamas, come and save your child. Baby Earth is reeling and wailing and needs your tender embrace. Mothers of the universe, Mother Nature's skies, ooh, come save your child. Come save your child.
Oh, there you go. I was on mute. You're sorry. Welcome to GeesBeeCee Women with Words show. Today is a special Saturday edition. It's someone very important that we wanted to ensure we made time off to be able to get to talk to them and get to meet her, introduce her to our community here at GeesBeeCee. I just lost my guest. I'm hoping that this is just an internet shibako, but we'll get over that. But welcome. Happy Saturday. How's everybody doing? Let me see who's in the chat. Let me see who's in the comments so we can say welcome to all of you. Welcome again. This is GeesBeeCee, the Women with Words show. I am your host, Glendy Jane Juniors. I hope you know that the most important thing I like to do in my life, and that is to call my name. I don't care about anything else. I just love calling my name so that I can hear my father's name, because it is in his legacy that I continue to strive not to be like him, but to represent him so that others will remember who he is. We're still in the month of March. It's Women's Month. So we are also very excited today that our guest is actually our recipient. We honored her on this platform as our 2024 Woman of the Year, Mrs. Brenda Brewer Moore. Brenda has been doing a lot, continues to do a lot. She's a workaholic. She has a set schedule. It is not easy to get that. Let me tell all the cheese first before I bring her us. It's not easy to get to make an appointment with this lady, but I appreciate what she does, even though her schedule is challenging. What she's doing is impacting the lives of young people. So we want to congratulate Brenda here. This will be her first time here on the GeesBeeCee platform. She's doing some great work. I beg you, if you're watching, please share. Please add your followers. Please add everybody. We want to be able to support Brenda today. I don't know. I've never been able. Yes, she does small videos here and there, but I've never had an opportunity to be able to talk to her. I'm going to ask her about every single question, how she's able to work and still be fly for her husband. I will ask that question today. And still be fly for her husband and be a mother and all of that. So want to welcome all of you. Let me just see who's here watching. If I can't see your name, I'm sorry. But I want to send a shout out to all of you watching. I see Mommy Esther Topping Moore. She's watching. I see Michael Waterspoon. Oh my God. Michael watching today. Well, that good news. Welcome. Let me put my brother on the place. I see Beno Kamara. All of you who's watching, let me see if I can see others' name. Beno is here. Telma Dede Bala is here. My brother Thomas Wallow is here. I did see Caroline John. To all of you watching, we want to welcome you. We want to welcome you to this special edition of GeesBeeCee Women with Words show. Thank you, everybody. Please share. Like I said, you want to be able to hear the work that Brenda is doing and what she's done so far. I don't want to start this show without again congratulating our athletes, our Liberian athletes that traveled to Ghana for the African Games. We want to congratulate them. I want to tell you that 8 of those athletes traveled from the USA. And I know now that one traveled from Germany. Grace Famula, the young lady who won the boxing, won a bronze medal for the boxing game. She is presently in Germany. So all of the sacrifices these young people are making, we want to be able to support them. We also want our government to be able to support them. I tell you, another thing I found out is Coach Kute and Coach Seyon Cooper, since they've retired from track and field, this has been their life. They've volunteered their services almost for free to being able to scout Liberian youth in it outside of Liberia to represent them at different tournaments. I want to send my hats goes off to Coach Kute and Coach Seyon Cooper. Seyon Cooper is the head coach. Kute is in charge of recruitment. They go around, they watch games, they see athletes, they hear of their story, they know they're from Liberia, they engage them and they get them to join. So I want to congratulate these young people who have done so much for us. Another thing about them is I happen to have been at the airport yesterday. I want to tell you this because I think it's important. When you see us share story, or me in particular share things, it's because some of the things I share, I'm a Liberian first. Some of the things I may have a personal relationship, but most of the things I share and work with, I don't have a personal relationship. I'm a Liberian. I asked one of the athletes yesterday, and I said to her, why you're in America, you are a top runner, a top track and field athlete. You can run in any championship. Why did you decide that you're going to run for Liberia? And this is what Liberians may not know, and that's why I want to share this. Her response to me, I said, what are you going to lose? First, I asked, would you be able to run for America and Liberia? She said no. I said, so going forward, who will you run for? She said, I can only run for Liberia, even though I'm an American citizen with my lineage through my parents to Liberia. I can only run for Liberia. I cannot run for America anymore. And I said, and what does that mean to you? She said, what that means is, even though I'm here as an American, I am pledging my allegiance to Liberia. I was like, wow. This is somebody who is top in her game. Like probably number 3 in that stuff. And she is saying that I have pledged my allegiance to a country that I was not born in, that I have not been to. I am pledging my allegiance to run for Liberia. If these young people, the one from Germany and the children from US, if these children are not patriotic, then I don't know who else is patriotic. And I said something yesterday. When you see young people like this volunteering their service to help a country that they have not been to, they've never visited the continent, but they've decided to help because 1 or 2 of their parents are Liberians, it says a lot about what the parents have done, what they've instilled in their children, what they've told them about Liberia, to encourage them to have the desire to want. Some of those children running, like Joseph Famula, Joseph Famula came number 5 at the Olympics. He's an Olympian. Joseph Famula can never run for America. And Joseph Famula became number 5. And before he even ran for us, Liberia, the American people had approached him. And he said, no, I'm going to run for the country of my nativity. And so Joseph Famula, even if they gave him $1 million, he can never run for America, even though he was born here. This is when you see those athletes, and these are some of the things that I know of and I heard about because my son is an athlete. So when you see these children do this, please, if it's just to like a post or say congratulations or share them or encourage them, Let's do it. Let's pay homage to these children. Grace Famulin, a young woman, she lives in Germany. She's probably not the only one, but she decided that I will do boxing for Liberia. So to our athletes, kudos to them for the sacrifices that they've made for Liberia, our country. We will continue to encourage them. I am going to work on a documentary on those athletes, all of them. From the 24th game is going to be some work, but I'm going to work on something because what we need to do as Liberians is to create the awareness. And there are also Liberians from Liberia, like I think his name is Ata Kwekwe. He ran in the 200 meter. He didn't get to go further, but this is a young man who may also need some assistance from us. We can do something. We can help promote the better Liberia that we want. So much about our people, about the games. We want to continue to follow them. We'll continue to share them. I also want to say thank you to Go Team Liberia page. They helped us bring the information to us a lot. So before we invite our guests to the platform, I'm going to play this song that I'm going to dedicate to all women for the Women's Month of March 2024, and especially to our recipient who is our guest this afternoon. This song is by Samuel Wilson. Listen, I want you to listen to the words. Okay? Stay tuned.
Your power, we want to move until you do. We need your glory, we need your presence. Fill this place, have your way. Send your glory, send your power. We want to move until you do. We need your glory, we need your presence. Fill this place, have your way. We give our all to you. Have your way. We give our lives away. Have your way. We give our all to you. Have your way. We give our lives away. Have your way. Send your glory, send your power, send your power. We won't move, until you do, God. Until you do. Oh, we need you.
Hello, Brenda. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
I'm excited to finally. I keep saying finally. I'm excited to finally get to talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have today our guest, Mrs. Brenda Brewer Moore, CEO, SSO, RRO. All the letters you can find. But we want to welcome you to this platform, and we want to first say how we appreciate the work that you continue to do, and that is extremely an honor to have you. We also want to congratulate you. We followed you. Of course, you know that.
Yes.
Your work and all that you've done. And so we have honored you for the entire month. Your face is the face of GBC until my
Sivina,
turn.
Sivina.
Your face
Thank
that's
you so much.
in the profile for our picture for our Facebook
I didn't
profile.
realize that.
Yeah, because
That's nice.
you've done great work. So tell us, for the audience listening to us, tell us, who is Brenda Brewer?
So, Brenda, thank you so much again, Sis G, for inviting me here. I always say when it seems that things something taking long to happen, the universe isn't ready for it to happen yet. And so this was the time that God wanted us to talk, and the all the factors just aligned. I ended up being here, the time zone, and all of that. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you also for always being one of those who, when I share things online about the work we're doing, you amplify it on your different platforms. So I really appreciate. Not many of us tend to do that. We think that our space, our platforms should only be used for ourselves. And the fact that you were so selfless in sharing that platform and space with so many others, I want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Brenda is let me just say I'm a very passionate person. Let me start there. That should hopefully explain who I am. I'm a very passionate person, and I've come to realize that for me to be happy, I have to. A part of what makes me feel fulfilled is pursuing things that makes me happy, and so all of the things that I do doesn't they don't end up being like work because I enjoy doing them. I am a mother of two. My oldest is 17. My youngest is 14, going 15. I am married to Ransford Moore. We've been married 19 years. Um, I am a children's book author. I've published 5 children's books.
Mhm.
I run 2 small businesses in Liberia, a curated cultural gift store, a cultural gift store that provides arts and crafts and fashionable items from all across Africa. I like to say Moreover's favorite cultural gift store because we have everything in one
Fine
place.
things,
You
fun
don't
things
have to
in
go
that place.
all over the place. You can just go there, you get all the African things you need as gifts when you're traveling or just for anybody in country. And then lastly, I also run I own a small business called G&A Delicacies, and G&A is a snail company. We raise snails, we package them, process them, and sell them in supermarkets and other places. And then last but not the least, I am the founder and executive director of Kids Education Engagement Project, Keep Liberia, a nonprofit organization that turns 10 this year, one which was birthed out of a crisis situation.
Yeah.
So that is me in a nutshell. My official experience, I would say my profession is actually human resource management. I have a master's in business administration. But for about 19 years, I worked mostly in HR until I transitioned to now working mostly now in the nonprofit development space. That's
Amazing.
me in a nutshell.
That's not
Thank
even a nutshell.
That's a deep thing.
Yeah.
That's me.
But that you've done a lot. And it's interesting to know that 2 skills that you have. No wonder you're so successful. You're an HR person, so you know how to interact with people. And not only that, you're business minded also. So I see that when you have the skills, you have to put it to work. And that's exactly what you've done. I want to say thank you. But I always like to ask this question to Liberians who are successful. I ask them, what when you look at Liberia now and you have 2 young adults, a child and a young adult because she's 17, growing up in Liberia then to growing up in Liberia now. I want us to talk a little bit about it for you. What difference have you seen? Or are you at a place that you can look back and say, the way I was brought up is how I've been able to bring up my children?
That's an interesting question. I would say I felt safer before the war as a child because we lived in a compound, but I had the flexibility of leaving my yard and going in the community and playing, just roaming the community from one friend house to the other, and not too much worry from my parents on where I was, my safety. So in that regard, I think is a little different. Now my kids are also live in a compound, but I'm not as comfortable having them roaming the community as I did when I was a child, simply because of the kind of statistics that have changed over time. I don't want to paint Liberia as such a bad place,
Yes.
but given the statistics that are real, um, the fear is there of that. I also feel like a lot of the innocent little things we did back then, they're not so innocent anymore.
Anymore. When you
The
look
kids
back.
have access to a lot more information than we did as youngsters. For us, we relied maybe a lot on television and reading. That's where you would get most of your information. I'm Nigerian, like listen to radio. So from television, the movies they watch, will watch
The
or
internet is
books.
sweet. Okay.
Now the kids have access to television, so there's what they have now that's a little bit different, yeah. But other than that, I think the cultural values generally are still there. Again, it's about the setting that you're brought in, whether it's a very traditional home and as opposed to a more contemporary um, home space. Um, my kids, I think the other difference is my kids are not growing up in a very religious home compared to when I was growing up. I'm a pastor's daughter, preacher's kid,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so my upbringing was slightly different. Like I always tease them. I said, you're really enjoying. You're really enjoying. I said, because my mind used to make sure every month we would take fast. We would do 3 day fast. We will fast up to 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We go for Tara. We'll do this. We can do power study. We can do this. We can go in the moon circle to pray. I said, you're doing all those things. I said, you're spoiled. I said, be letting you fast there for 3 days. Let's see.
I know, right?
But even though we're not deeply religious, we are very aware of humanity, and that's what I try to teach them. It's not about the religion; it's all about how you interact with other human beings, and that's what should matter more than anything. And that in itself is a form of worship. How you engage with the human beings that you can see, rather than a God that you cannot see. You can read the Bible from front to back and still live the worst life. So it's all about how we interact as humans with other people, respect, cordiality, etc., etc. By the way, I'm drifting to religion topic.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say that, it reminded me of my grandfather. My grandparents were in Banga. And December, every year, December, I was a favorite of my grandparents. So every year my mother would send me for vacation December, January, and that was the cold time. And 6 a.m. at prayer time. The living room is not in the house. The living room where the former living room where they can have the prayer, you have to walk in that cold to go to that former living room. And when you get there, everybody's sitting down. The only song he has to raise is Father, I stretch my hand today. Everybody will open their eyes sing.
Father.
Our Father. He was standing at Stone anyway. And it's like when you sit, you are you baby girl, are you up? I'm like, oh Lord, every time
Papa, leave me alone. I won't sleep.
even though he wants to sleep, he had to do it. But one thing I can say about Liberians and about our country is we always make the best use of what we have,
Yeah,
no matter the difficulties.
that's
The
true.
poorest Liberian, when you talk to them, you will think that they're so rich because they've become accustomed to their situation and they've made the best out of it. Not saying that they shouldn't have better, but whatever they have, they're not going to just sit down and say, oh, you know what, I'm so, some people will do that, but the vast majority makes the best use out of what they have. So we appreciate that we have Liberians who struggle, but they're still creating an environment for their
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
That's conducive. Let's talk about keep. Let's talk about
Hey,
keep. I have a picture here of one of the buildings,
okay.
so that we can
Yes.
talk about it. I want to know about the colors. I want to know about the name. I want to know. Tell us, me and the guests and folks, if you're watching, What you're going to hear about is something maybe the first time you on this platform must be hearing about it, or the first time you've gotten to meet Brenda through this show today. At the bottom, I've shared the GoFundMe link. I want you to start getting your credit cards out now and whatever you have, because after Brenda tells us about the birth and the continuation of Keep, I would hope that it would touch you to the place where you'll be able to make a donation today, because this is not about Brenda. This is about what her work is doing in Liberia. So let's talk about Keep.
Thank you. So keep started. That what is, when we're talking about God and religion, when God wants something to happen, it just happens. So keep started during the height of the Ebola outbreak, 2014, when all of the schools in the country were shut down as a way of spreading the curve of the Ebola virus. And I believe at the time, all of us thought it was going to be a 2 weeks kind of thing, 2 months thing. It ended up going for about a year. Schools were closed for just about 10 months. And at the time, my kids were much, much younger. And I decided to homeschool them, just do like 2 hours lesson with them every day before going into work and coming back. And so we'll do that. I'll print worksheets that match their school curriculum for that week, print out, go online, get worksheets and print it out. But then I realized that every time I went to work and came back home, coming home, you see the children they seem free in the community, passing around, no care, and just idle. And then I felt a little guilty. I'm like, okay, so Brenda, you are sitting in your compound, your kids are getting educated, they're being entertained, and you living in like an island, not concerned about the other children, in the community. So that's how I asked my husband. I said, look, I'm thinking about doing the same thing I'm doing with the kids, where we prepare lessons for them and then giving it to parents in the community so that they can tutor the kids at least 1 hour every day, something to keep their minds connected to education. And he said, yes. It's important for me to mention this because this was Ebola time, where 80% possibility of death when you get Ebola. People weren't particularly moving around, and so to tell your husband, say, I won't go in the street to be passing around with listen, that was, something that could affect the family. So I needed to get his buy-in. And he said, not only do I think it's a great idea, I will join you. And so both of us started doing it. We started printing out lessons. We had, each educational kid had crayons, pencils, sharpener, eraser, then the 2 or 3 worksheets: math, English, reading, coloring pages. And then initially we started from preschool to 3rd grade, and then later on went up to 6th grade. Of course, we're using our personal money, So when we started first, and we did the first outreach, we did about 75 packets. And then we realized that there were more children than 75 in our immediate community. There were about 150 children. And we just check out, like, oh, so the children are printing. So we had to print more lessons, and then we did it for about 2 weeks. We would go and give new sets every week, and then give a little treat to the children when they complete the lesson, work with somebody in the home. So and the answers were all at the back of the packages. Then I said, we can't continue this on our income. So let me ask for people to donate paper and coloring and all the things that we need to put in the packets. So that's when I did a social media post and said, look, this is what we're doing. We're trying to keep the kids in this community engaged. I need paper, I need crayons, I need pencils, I need people to donate notebooks to me. And that's how people started sending. People are like, oh, this is great. Because at the time, the entire country was focusing on the medical response, not on the other effects, the causal effects of Ebola. And so nobody was doing anything around education at the time. And so that, I think that also made people realize, oh, we haven't thought about this aspect of the Ebola response. A lot of volunteers contacted me. They wanted to volunteer because people wanted to help. Liberians wanted to help, but they didn't know how, especially since we're not medical professionals. So people wanted to help, but there was some way that we can contribute, we can help without endangering ourselves particularly. And so people started I had lawyers, I had high school students, I had accountants, I had college students, people who just, at one point in time, we had like 25 volunteers at a time. And it just blew up from there, sis G. It just blew up from there because people will start calling from different communities. Oh, you gotta bring that same thing here. You know, the other communities will call. And we ended up with a team of volunteers. Some of the first people to join me were Nada Ajami. Nada, I always keep missing your married name, sorry. Nada Ajami. Um, uh, Wade Power
Yes.
joined. Crystal, yeah, Wade, one of the Wade, I had not, I don't think, I didn't know Wade from anywhere at the time. I didn't even know we were friends on Facebook.
Hmm.
But she sent me a message. She was in the US at the time, and she sent me a message. I like what you're doing. I want to join. I want to help. And from almost the very beginning, Wade joined us and push this. And then so many others, like I said, Nadia and other people joined us. We ended up going, Lady G, we ended up reaching over 7,000 children over a 10-month period.
Hmm.
I like to say the 7,000, there were more than 7,000, but the one that we had record on, people that would actually give, we are tracking about 7,000. And we ended up going to over 50 something communities around the country. And so that's really how it keeps started. There was no plan on. I kept saying, so if you look at some of the early interviews I did at the time, I said, "They're not NGO here. We're not doing anything. We're just helping. We're not NGO here." But then, when God means for something to start, you can say, you can protest all you want, and it's just going to happen. Because I remember we started the GoFundMe, asking people to donate, school supplies and all of that. And then somebody, an organization contacted me and said, we want to work with you to do this in particular communities that we're working in. And I said, sure. So we did the budget, everything, the concept notes, sent it to the people. And then they said, okay, we got a check for you, but the check is in your organization name. I said, which organization, my people? When they told you to me, what beat out behind the organization, and say the initiative. Okay, the initiative, got check for the initiative. We didn't have a bank account, so I was forced to in order to cash the check, we needed to register the organization, and we register the organization and we opened the bank account. And so that's how Keep started. There was no plan on starting an NGO, and it just
Wow.
from there. Yeah, after they opened the account, now I was just and that the story 1 or 2 years later.
I know. I want to mention, just listening to you, you and your husband, that decision was selfless for you
In
to
hindsight,
during Ebola time. Because I too happen to have gone to Ebola. I gone to Liberia right when Ebola started. Because my grandmother had died and my mother was sick and I had to go bury my grandmother. And during that same time, my father died, 2014, while I was there. So, and I remember being in with my cousin, Curtis Finley, and anybody that wanted to come to me, he was so protective. Like, don't touch the woman. She got to go back to her children. Don't bring her. When somebody I want to come and I hug, he said, Piggy, don't hug nobody. You going back to your children. So when I'm here, I hear you talking, and it's like when you and your husband and your kids are agreeing to do this, you're putting yourself at a high risk. And I'm sorry when you're talking about, I say I should have gotten some of those pictures. I used to see you in your boots, in the mud, in the plastic bag over you, just going. I mean, just completely selfless. And it's just like you say, whatever God hand is in and what He wants you to do, no matter what, you're going to do it. Even though that when I NGO, that check came, you were not going to use it if you didn't have one, and there you are today. But we want to commend you for doing, you and your husband, for doing such a selfless, patriotic thing for Liberian people, not just thinking about your children only, but also thinking about the children in the community. So, like you mentioned, I was able to get this picture. This is happy 10 years anniversary to you.
Yeah, 10 years this year.
10
July
years.
makes us 10.
Yes. That is amazing. Folks, if you're watching, if you haven't been touched, I'm sure by the end of the show, you're going to be touched. The GoFundMe is right here. Brenda continues to do a lot of work, but the fact that she's impacting the lives of children, it's something amazing. I'm going to put the picture of one of the Keeps building Now that keep is formed, how do we get to now taking keep from paper and putting it into a building?
Mhm. That's a beautiful question, actually, because so Ebola ended in 2015, and then we had raised money. We had, gone to all these communities, all these children. Some of the kids that stood out during the 10-month period, we decided, okay, schools are reopening. What can we do to support families? Because there was a really big economic gap at the time. A lot of people lost their jobs, their businesses as a result of Ebola. So a lot of parents from low income backgrounds were struggling to, get their kids back in school. So we bought school bags and with school supplies in it again, distributed to some of the children. But I didn't feel that was enough because throughout all of the distribution and the weekly monitoring of the lessons with the children, one thing stood out, and that was the kids couldn't read. So regardless of whether it was Monserrato or whether it was Grand Chide, which most of the children was worse the farther away from Monrovia we went, but we noticed that the kids struggled to read. So they would do the math assignments. They want to have numbers. They would do the arts assignments. They may sometimes do some of the grammar homework, but they did not touch the reading comprehension questions at all.
Wow.
They did not. And many times we'll go check the lessons, we realize that all the questions on the reading part, the storytelling part, most of the children didn't read it. And we kept asking why. And they tried to lesson hard, which was like, okay, but how can this be? This is the lesson appropriate for your grade level. So I said, okay, so maybe it's looking too hard. So sixth grade reading questions, lessons, we started giving sixth graders fifth grade lessons. The sixth graders still struggle to read fifth grade lessons. So we brought it down to fourth grade. We started giving sixth graders fourth grade reading lessons. And the sixth graders were still struggling. So we had to go down to third grade level before the sixth graders were reading at some level. And even then they were like, they were more giving all hard time here. So it stuck with me that a lot of the kids weren't reading well. And if you can't read well, you can't do any other subject in school well. So post Ebola, we sat a group of us and said, what are we going to do? We've seen so much during the last 10 months that we weren't planning on seeing. As professional people, do we go back to status quo and say that the people think that the government responsibility, or do we take a more active role in helping to shape the development of Liberia, and not being passive and just condemning that this is not there and that is not there? And everybody said yes. One of the people said, I don't got time for this, But I said, you know what? I will still do something. There were a lot of other people who said, yes, it's good. But what? What do we do? So I said, I've noticed reading as a problem. So let's promote a culture of reading in Liberia. Let's do a lot of awareness for parents to get their children reading more, get schools interested in investing more in reading. And everybody said, okay, so what does that mean? I said, we can have reading sessions around, we can do storytelling and all of that. We can get books. Then I realized that one, there are very few libraries in Liberia.
Yes.
There were few access, and this is 10 years ago. It's still the story hasn't changed much in 10 years, but it was even worse back then. So where do we get books from? You don't have libraries, you don't have too many bookstores around unless you go in certain locations to buy used books and all of that. So I said, okay, let me see if a part of our plan to promote reading includes building libraries or reading rooms where kids can come as a safe space where they can read, they can study, they can just hang out. And then we can do different programs that makes reading look like fun, because I always think back to my own childhood, how much of a ferocious reader I was. But then I'm also thinking that if I got home from school or I don't have anything to do for leisure, for entertainment, would I pick up a science book to read about amoeba and skeletons? Or would I want to read about, I want to escape my reality and read about a girl with a ball gun in Paris, and I said, the kids will want to read stories that, entertain. And so we decided, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to build libraries. And so that's how we did our very first library. We had about 7,000 left from our GoFundMe at the time. So we used that. We did a budget. We realized we have needed about 14,000 to do our first structure, excluding the cost of books. And we made that happen with, I got on my feet. I started knocking doors. I started contacting companies. I started asking my friends. I said, we need chairs, we need paint, we need computers, we need books. And we opened our first reading room in July 2016. We opened our first reading room.
Wow.
And I am so proud to say that since then, it's been eight years.
Mhm.
We have done 35,
Wow.
35, yes, 35 across the country. We've done it in about
35 of these. That is commendable. I know I can see your hands
This is
clapping.
with no national funding. This is with no set budget from anybody anywhere. This is just possible through real hustle, man. Real hustle, like traffic, begging, forcing friendship, networking, being strategic about different things. And so it's been a labor of love. It's been
Mm.
a journey to get into 35. And I always joke and tell people that I have created more libraries in Liberia than the government library, because the government currently, I'm joking, but the government currently has about 2,500 public schools. And I think, if I stand corrected, I think from the statistics that they released last year, only 170 of those
Wow.
2,500 schools have a library. And most times when you see the depiction of a library, you like, huh? you know.
Yeah.
So we've done 35 in the last 8 years that we're very, very proud of. We've done other programs too to promote reading, and I can explain those as we go along. Just different strategies to get children who haven't been brought up with a passion and interest in reading to reading. So it's been a hit and miss learning, in the process, what works, what isn't working, and try to tweak along the way.
That's amazing. In 10 years to have 10 reading centers, 10 reading
35.
35, sorry. 35 reading center and in different communities. That's spreading the word. I like what you said because, of course, in my other life, I'm a poet person. I'm a poet, and not recognized or not signature, but I love the mind. And when I hear you say uh, the three words, labor of love,
Yeah.
a lot of things came to mind. That labor of love put you at some delicate places, having to ask some people that
Mhm.
you didn't know,
Or
but
don't
you
even like.
didn't like. Yes, but you were laboring for Liberia
Mhm.
people, and I'm going to write a poem on that inscription there from you, labor of love. But you labored because you love Liberia.
Yeah, yeah,
Labor
yeah.
of love. Wow. Amazing, amazing.
And that's really it. So that is a part of my why. I always tell people, sometimes people ask me, "What are you doing in Liberia? What are you doing in Liberia?" And so where do you want me to go? Like, where do you think, where do you think I should live? You say, you got so much talent and skills, you should live somewhere else. But that's not where God wants me to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'll be happy in another place. I mean, despite all the issues, the LEC, the bar road, I love Liberia. I love living there. I love being a part of the development of the country. I love the fact that somebody will be driving 13 hours away and will send you a picture. Oh, I saw your sample way in the bush.
Yeah.
I love the fact that, a child who has never entered a library before, can enter one and be amazed at the kind of books that they're seeing, the excitement. And even if they can't read, the fact that they see the pictures and they're curious enough to be flipping through the pages. Those are some of the things that motivates me, that I may not be rich, but tomorrow there's a lot of wealth around that. You never know.
Yes, you never
They
know. You never know. So let me just say, if you're watching, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Mrs. Brenda Brewer. She's from Keep Liberia, an organization that she started during the Ebola crisis with her family, where they were creating materials for kids to learn how to read, to enhance their mind and have them focus on education during that time instead of focusing on the crisis. I've called her selfless for what she and her family has been able to do. But I want to encourage you, if you're watching, this organization now is at 10 years. Please do not leave this show without making a donation to this GoFundMe. We have, as we move into hearing what are the plans for Keep, what are some of the other things that Brenda is doing. If you have questions, I'm watching the line on here and on my page, my personal page, to see if there are any questions. If you have questions, type it in for Brenda. I'm also going to post my personal number. If you want to call in, please call in. I'm going to pin my number here. Um, you can call my number now, but when the show finish, you call it, I will not answer. Just kidding. I'm going to pin my number because I think it would be good for Brenda to interact with some people who appreciate her. So we will take on, once we start saying that we're going to do calls. And Brenda, I hope you don't mind. I
I don't
think,
mind. I
yeah, I
don't
think
mind at all.
people should talk to you. I've pinned my number there. I'm going to go to my personal page also and pin my number. If you're watching, when it's time to call in, if you call in, we'll let you talk. We will take 5 callers. Don't call now because we're not ready yet. I won't be able to do both. But we want Brenda to be able to interact with you. We want you to be able, want her to hear from you. If this is your first time, and when you do call, if this is your first time hearing about this, tell us how you feel about it. So let's hear about what's the plan for Keeps. You now have 35 centers. I also want to acknowledge, I believe this is your staff.
Yes.
I want you to talk a little bit about you truly are a woman who has labored in law for Liberia. Tell us about your staff, and let me just say thank you to all of these people who currently work for Keep Liberia.
Thank you. So I have a core team of about 14 persons, and then we have about 4 interns that works with us. So that, like you see, the young lady next to me on my, is that my left, with the shades. She's
Okay.
an intern there. She's visually impaired. Then the young lady next to her, she's also an intern. And then, yeah, so we have about 3 interns and then 14 staff. And the staff includes accountants, logistics, procurement, program staff. Where possible, we take advantage of volunteers, but in Liberia, volunteerism doesn't really work because a lot of times people always have high expectations, and as a local NGO, when you can't meet up with those expectations, sometimes it can be very difficult because people expect that they volunteer for, they won't get paid. You understand volunteerism? So, yeah, we have about 3 interns and then 14 staff. Sometimes the number goes down, sometimes it goes up. I would say my total workforce right now is actually 55.
Wow.
Yes, 30 of those are teachers that we work with that run an accelerated learning program that we're doing in partnership with Luminous Fund. So 30 of those are what we call, they are teachers that we call facilitators. So they facilitate the class on a scripted lesson that helps get the kids who have dropped out of school ready to go back into formal school. So to attend one program with them where we put them through an aggressive learning program that includes math and reading and English and science. Yeah, but that's my team. Where do we see Keep? So let me tell you a little bit about some of the other things that we've done since.
Yeah.
So after we formed the organization, given my background in human resource and management, I decided from the get-go I wanted to do this properly. And I really like to think that some of the things that made us stand out compared to other organizations that have been around longer than us. From the get-go, I developed a strategic plan. I developed policies. I developed, roadmap on where I wanted, what the things I wanted to do, and so it helped as a guide for me. So that it wasn't me just figuring out as I went along. Completely, we had a plan, and so we've operated under 4 pillars at the time. Now we've dropped it to 3. 1, literacy pillar, promoting literacy pillar. Under that pillar, we do the reading rooms. We'll also do reading sessions. So we'll have Saturday reading sessions where we'll have the community come in, and then we'll do read aloud, we'll do storytelling, we'll do drama. We just have fun with the kids for about 2 hours. And then we had reading clubs, and those clubs would meet specifically in schools. Then we started to evolve into other things around promoting literacy, which included programs like Read to Write. That's the one I was doing most recently last 2 years, where we noticed a lot of the kids from these poor communities they can afford bicycles. And so as a way of encouraging them to read more and have fun and exercise, we started to do Read to Write. So you get opportunity to ride a bicycle if you read at least 1 hour a day
Oh,
in our
wow.
reading rooms. Yeah. So when you finish reading 1 hour, we verify that you've read, because we'll ask questions, we'll look at the book and we'll ask you questions. So tell us a story about what happened in the book here. And oh yeah, then they may walk me in the tree, then he fell down. Okay, all right, you read the story. You can go around for 15 minutes here. And then they're so excited about that. They're so excited. Some of the kids that joined us, we started compiling their stories, and we published that into a book. So some of the kids who actually came to our reading program over time started writing their own stories. We published that. We had it on Amazon for a while. I don't know if it's still up there. Then 2000 activities now under the promoting literacy.
Someone is asking if you've ever worked with Brother Abba.
A little thing. You there?
Yeah, someone is asking if you've ever worked with Brother Abba from Luminous Fund.
Yeah. I think he was announced recently as the Assistant Minister for Basic Education.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, we worked together with Luminous. But yeah, so now don't start doing a lot of advocacy under the second pillar. And under the advocacy is where you hear me talking about things around SGBV, specifically as it relates to violence against children. I also felt that as time went along, as a survivor of sexual abuse as a child, I wanted to talk about it so that we could normalize having those difficult conversations on the naughty and not so good things that happens in our African homes. So along those lines, we started doing a lot of awareness and advocacy around increased funding from the government to support survivors in the whole judiciary system, as it is connected to SGBV. Then I published 3 books under that same pillar of advocacy, so that we could educate children on how to protect their bodies. Too many times the focus is on the adults, but I felt like, okay, that's the preventive side. We talk with the government, but as parents, what are some of the things we can teach and educate our children how to be safe, considering our African context? Because a lot of the literature that's out there is for the Western world, where people are already conditioned on things that are not appropriate, but not so much appropriate, but the different with their setting. Now in Africa, we are touchy people, and so it's okay for hugs, it's okay for sitting, leaning, and so having conversations about that was very important. Yes, My Body, My Treasure is one of those books. Thankfully, the government accepted our book on the national curriculum, so this book is actually listed along with the alternative learning books the government has listed on for the school calendar for the year. And then lastly,
don't just skip by that like that. That's amazing.
Yes, it was.
Don't just skip by. Like you were sitting here by an accomplished author.
3 of my books on the national reading list. And I like to mention that on the national reading list.
Yes.
3 of them.
Skip by any kind of good news like that. An accomplished author who gets to have her book on the national book list for Liberia, the country. That is an amazing thing, Brenda. That is so amazing. I mean, I tell you, I hope you're putting money on your GoFundMe. Because this woman is well-rounded. I just want to show this. This is what we're talking about, the Kids Educational Engagement Project. So far, they've been in existence now for 10 years. What started during the Ebola crisis has now built itself into reading rooms, small libraries. I know so some kids in the different villages and places you've planted, they have not seen library before.
No.
have that
No.
library and they see these buildings, and I think they treasure them a whole lot. I want to ask, why orange and green?
So the green for sure. So it's orange and green, and then specks of black. To
Mm,
be very honest, no, some people say you can be intentional about colors with brand and all of that. But I'll be honest, other than the green, which was very intentional. I love green. Green is my favorite, one of my favorite colors. When I asked the guy who helped us to design the book, so the arch that you see over the kids' education like, is actually depiction of a book, an open book. He just added those colors, and I was like, "This is fine. Yes, this is the arc here is actually a book."
yeah, I can see that. It's a
um,
book.
and yes, the green, and then he just added the orange. I was like, fine, that's cool. I'm not particular, but and we just stuck with that. And I said, for branding, one thing I also knew was that branding was important. So whatever colors we did figure out, we're going to stick with the logo. We just make sure all of our rooms will represent that. So whenever you got to a keep room, you wouldn't have any concern about who did a room. No, 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 no. You see that bright lime green, and you see that popping orange, and you see a brightly lit room, that's very welcoming for children, because you want a space to also be, very enticing and welcoming. So we'll
Yes.
put a lot of graphics on the wall with the kids. We didn't put too much textbooks. We do a lot more leisure reading books in
Yeah.
our room. So that's how we got the colors. They just happy.
Yeah, but I think it's strategic when I hear you said you don't put school books, because I think you also trying to do what you can to entice the kids' appetite into reading,
Yes.
storybook reading, which is
Yes.
going to help them to want to read other books. So I
Mhm.
think that was very encouraging. Now we've heard a lot about successes, and I know with 10 years, there's been some
Mhm.
struggles.
Mhm.
Let's
Mhm.
talk a little bit about the challenges and the struggles that you've had, because I may not be a consistent giver, but I know once or twice I've been able to support your work, and it's not easy to get people to if you're it's difficult to sustain a program based on individual support, where sometimes they will have, sometimes they won't have. So let's talk about the struggles and the challenges you've had, but yet you continue to want to do this.
So I won't jump to the money part first. I think one of the major struggles that we have, honestly, is the mindset of the communities, and the conditioning we've had over time. So you mentioned, and I mentioned that a lot of these communities that we build these reading rooms in, they've never had a library. Now I know libraries are good. Libraries are good, but in a space where, since maybe like once, okay, for example, one school we did last year was the Medina Public School. Medina Public School has existed for 54 years.
Hmm.
They've never had a library, never, never. So we built a library there. We built it from scratch. A reading room. We built a reading room there. But just because you've built a reading room does not mean that they're going to use it.
Mhm.
Because if you use a cooking osa kitchen ma, and you face la kitchen with tie, the post
You
stove
will
there,
clean
you
it.
still
You will leave it.
yeah, because you're a team, you want to keep the kitchen clean. So the mindset a lot of times is what we struggle with, because people will welcome, yeah, we want library, yeah, because we always ask, do you want, and they say yes, we want. There's a process we go through, the selection of the room, the location, all of that. But when you do it, you do the training with the teachers, and then you tell them, let the kids come into the room. These are the programs you have to do in the room to bring them into the room.
Wow.
Not often times you will see that level of engagement with the rooms. There might be one or two schools or principals that understand and then start to force classes, students to go into the room and say, okay, for our reading class, for example, first period, everybody walk to the reading room during our session there. Or for this other subject, let's walk there. So a lot of times it's the usage of the rooms that bothers, that can be discouraging at times, because I want to go into a room after 2 years and see all the books dog ear, all
Yeah.
you can see what people have,
The
read a
pages.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see read up on some of the pages in a way, because then I know you're eating and reading, because But a lot of times, even though the programs will put there the activities and all of that, you will see people come and then they'll go and then they come, they will go. Unless you have consistent funding to have activities in the room, it can be difficult. The next challenge I have had over the years has been staffing. Because we're a local NGO that's mostly self-funded, I'm not able to hire the kind of skill set that I need with me to do the things that I need to do. So most times I have to hire either college students or people who high school dropouts or people who just completed university, which doesn't always give me the kind of skill set that I need. And then a lot of times once they get 1 or 2 years of experience, you know, they're gone. It also means that I'm constantly, a lot of the workload is on me because I'm constantly training, I'm constantly teaching people, I'm constantly trying to nurture and carry the heavy load. And then by the time you start to shift the workload to somebody, it's like, so that's another challenge. Then, of course, that's the funding challenge as well. Because we're mostly funded, it means that I constantly have to keep asking for money, constantly have to think on ways that we can have sustainable funding. The most sustainable funding would be, of course, to get funding from government, but we haven't been able to get that. One part of me don't want funding from government too, because then I feel like it will stifle my voice in some areas where I want to talk about certain things that the government isn't doing right, you know. But in terms of sustainability, it would be good if we could get some kind of budgetary allocation for giving what we're doing, given the niche that we're in. There are not many. There's no other. Well, I want to know other because We Care is doing something similar. There aren't many organizations doing what Keep is doing, and so it would be good if the government would come in with some form of funding. The other ways that we started to raise money was the books. So we started to write the books and then sell the books. That helped. We do a lot of fundraising in country. So events, Eat for Keep at Royal Hotel, annual dinners, that helps. Partnership with companies that want to connect with us and say, okay, as part of our CSR for this year, I want to do a library. That helps us also. And just people basically seeing every month $25 will come into your account. And I like to give shout out to a couple of people who've been consistent for years. Eve is not watching here. She's not a Facebook person, but Eve Cole, I tell you, the young lady since 2018. Every month, and she's in Liberia. She lives. I'm stressing this because people think people don't give in Liberia. Every month, we all feel before I even take that money that one can give us, it comes to our account every month. That's very commendable as a Liberian living in Liberia to be able to be consistent for years with supporting a local NGO. We've had a lot of companies that also go up, count down. Some of the companies that be calling me, you need to be fundraiser the year, we got our money, we won't give it to you. PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and because we've also been very consistent in communicating our work and transparent, communicated, it's made it easier for companies to trust us. And the companies that we've had that's invested in us over the years have been partners. Like International Bank, all my team I can complain with International Bank, sometimes with the services. International Bank has been a consistent partner to keep. Anytime we're having fundraisers, 1,000, 2,000, they would, donate. Dorothy is another person who, from the time Dorothy found me online, I had not met that woman before. She was consistently donating to keep in our fundraising. So that's how we raise money. We beg. We do a lot of begging. We're not at this sustainable level yet. We haven't been able to come up with a strong, consistent income stream that's outside of donations. Like I mentioned, we tried that with the books, but it works sometimes. I have to continue to do it. It's not like I can get tired. I'll remember, like, oh, let me advertise the book today. I'll forget. But basically, we do fundraising events mostly in Liberia, and then for online, for people in the diaspora who want to support, then we do the GoFundMe as well.
Yeah. Well, I would think that the government of Liberia will want to look into this and add you to the budget. I mean, having been able to build 35 reading centers in 10 years, there go the reference. If they're looking for your credibility or the fact that you can do it, and you've helped thousands of children learn how to read, but not also learn communication skills.
Yeah, there's so much.
They're interacting with people. That I think that's been really, really interesting. So if you have my number, I've posted my number. If you all want to call in, you can start calling. We'll start taking calls. I wanted to read this comment because I think this person has summed it up. If you're watching, I want you to take this picture because I want to make sure I share this. Um, hold on one second. I want to make sure I share this picture with this comment after the show. So please take a picture of this. I'm not able to take it with Brenda face and my face and this comment on here. This person is saying, this is what a hard-working woman looks like. She started from making photocopies and distributing in her neighborhood. She is an example of the United States Post Office. Love you to life, Brenda. I want to make sure I find it with a name. Hold on, caller. Um, find the name of that person that wrote that comment.
It
It's
says
Naomi
Naomi.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Naomi Joseph wrote that. Thank you so very much. This just epitomizes who Brenda is and the work that she's done. So we have our first caller. We'll take after this. We'll talk a little bit about everything else. We'll take two calls, three calls about Keep. Talk to Brenda about her CEO or other CEO life with the fun things and the eating snail, and and then we'll continue. So let's go to our caller. Hello, caller. Hello,
Afternoon.
Sano. Yes, Brenda, you can hear. Go ahead,
Oh, yeah, I hear him.
Sano. Go ahead.
How you doing? How you doing?
A
How you
partner.
doing?
Partner in
Doing good.
progress. Hi, how do?
Oh, Brenda. Lady. Look, man, this lady, she's auto.
Tell the man who talking.
What? Glenda, just continue doing your work. You know what we do. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
anything.
Mhm.
Just keep doing your work, and you got GoFundMe, right?
Yes.
But
Yes,
you
yes.
know how we do it. $250 from here.
Thank you. Two
Oh,
hundred
thank
fifty
you, thank
dollars
you,
from you. Thank you
thank you, Sano.
so
On
very.
top of everything else that you're doing, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's what we're talking about. Don't call in. I don't get no money. Oh.
It's you.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. But that's amazing. I mean, your work speaks for itself, what you've done, what you continue to do. Let's talk about well, before we go into delicacies, let's talk about your husband and your children a little bit about
Okay.
first your husband. You travel many days sometimes, long drives sometimes, away from home so many times, but yet you all are still in a very happy, successful 19 years marriage. What when sometimes what does he say to you I mean, I want to hear what he thinks about the work that you're doing.
So I would say God just decided he was going to bless me in a very unique way, because my husband is somebody who he's just amazing. He's so supportive that sometimes myself can say, he very understanding. For what I learned with him very early on is communication. If I tell him, if I communicated to him what I wanted, timelines and all of that, he falls in very easily and supports. He hasn't been, one of those men who's very insecure. He's very confident in me, confident in the relationship that we have. So there's never been a situation of so much jealousy and insecurity. Where you going? What you doing? Who you talking to? Because when you're begging for money, you can be talking to both men and women.
Yes.
Meeting people, having lunch meetings. I remember some years back, somebody called my husband and said, "Oh, so your wife to a hotel with me having lunch?" He said, "So, what a business woman, woman running NGO. So what I was on me,
I know,
you know,
right?
it's very, very supportive. and that's and communicating with the kids as well, because when they were younger, it was easier to just say mommy's traveling and she'll be gone. Now that they're older, I have to like really let them know ahead of time to, my schedule is going to be busy for the next couple of days. And we've been able, as a couple, we've been able to leverage each other's strengths, and support each other's weaknesses. He knows me. He knows I'm not the typical domestic type who will sit down, bake the bread and clean the house and press the shirts and, do all the traditional things. I do it when I have to, but it's not something that I would particularly select to do. And he's cool. He's cool with that. He's a great cook. He's great with the kitchen. I can cook, but I don't like to cook. So 9 out of 10 times I will not cook. He loves to cook, so he's a nurturing, very nurturing man who's confident in his masculinity, and I like that. It's very comfortable. Oh,
Yeah.
the last one says,
He's a masculine man who is very comfortable
in his masculinity.
Yes.
And some time ago, somebody asked me, "We don't see you posting picture of your husband."
Okay.
I said, number one, my husband is not a social media person. He doesn't like social media. And number two, the man fun. The man fun. He nice. Nice. Then I'm a can. You posting my man picture with the eagle, hawk, lion, predator in around. No, I'm not going to tempt temptation. And on my face, you're not want to see your gym with it because you're not seeing my man face. Once a year, we post a picture for anniversary. And that's it. Nobody can be posting my picture for us, my picture. But he's cool. He's a very nice, very, very, very supportive. Very supportive dude. Very supportive. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen your daughter with you every now and then. Let me just
yes,
see.
My daughter, my son.
Hold on one second.
She's the one who's gonna be 15 this year, and my son turns 17 next week.
All right, hold on one second, okay? All right. Yeah. I've seen your daughter every now and then with you.
Mm-hmm.
Go with you and
yeah.
I think
I'm
that's
trying to get her.
Amazing thing.
Both of them from the very beginning of I got them involved from the
very
beginning.
I'm just not sure that you can pay her enough money for the work she's doing.
If she watching this, she will tell you no. They get that traffic. I'm telling you. You do 1 hour work, then she want more money for 1 hour work. Man, I how they left looking.
I know, right? I know. But let me caller, you can go ahead and ask Brenda your question. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and ask your question.
I'm Naomi Joseph. I just want to congratulate her because I have followed her. Brenda, I'll tell you a secret. I have followed her from diapers.
Wow.
I have just to congratulate her because
thank you, Naomi.
For the work that she was doing, her job that she had, her career, it was one thing to hear Brenda's working in the American Embassy. The next thing to hear Brenda stuck in mud. I'm telling you, sometimes when I get the beep and look at my computer, she's stuck in mud. She's on top of water. I said, this girl going to get somebody culinary attack here. But she's very consistent with what she does. She loves what she does. I know the trials and tribulations that she has been going through. Sometimes we call her when she tried to open what she wanted to do before. They wanted her to pay this deep pocket here, that pocket here, and all of these things she's doing for the country. I don't want to be political, but you have to see me. You have to see this person. I say, how many eyes can you have? But keep up the good work. Your mom is out there. I can imagine her smiling. I'm sitting here in my media room and actually crying to see our little Brenda. So where she is and what she have done for the country, and with what she is still doing. I know Brenda and Naomi been slacking and she been slack for a couple of years, but I'm going to come back and do what I do. But keep up the good work. And to you too, Sis Glendy, thank you very much for your time on Spoon and what you do. And we all have to we all have to fight for the country. It's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Brenda, we know we do it on the farm too. I try my best there too, you know. So we all have to do our little bit, little by little. The old ship go. If you leave your tap running and you put a bucket and the drip in the night, when you get it, that whole bucket will be full of water.
Yes.
So
Thank
we
you.
all have to do our little. I'm so proud of you, but I'm saying that way you from our snail. Anyway, so
Thank you, sis.
because I know what she had been through. And Glennie to tell you, she started during the time of the Ebola, the kids running, didn't have nothing to do. She started making photocopy. She would take it there and make sure the children read. She come back. Sometimes she would make the parents. She would make sure that the parents read it.
Wow.
And through that Ebola, she's going back to the neighborhoods and collecting the photos.
Yes.
Am I lying, Brenda? I know.
No, we watched her. We watched her. Sis, no, me.
I'm speaking from the Genesis.
Thank you.
And she's still cool. You will see Brenda on top of water. Brenda going Market Bridge. Brenda going. I was like, Jesus, this girl is an equivalent of what you call the American Postal Service. That's what I wrote.
Yes.
No snow, no rain, no storm will stop me. Your meal is coming. That's Brenda.
Thank you so much, Sis Naomi. Thank you.
I love you very much, and thank you so much, Sis Glennis. See you on Spoon tonight.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Amazing testimony, but we know we've seen your work, we've seen what you've done. If you're out there, you want to call, we're going to try to end here in the next 15 minutes. If you want to call Brenda, you can definitely call 703-986-4189. Brenda, let's talk about, we've talked a little bit about your family. Let's talk about J&A delicacies. Let me tell you, that's the only place where I can't stand Brenda. The only place I can stand her with that J&A. This woman makes me so envious of snail when I see her with that snail. Now I love snail. My children say, Mom, why do you like eating this thing? I love snail so much. But tell us about J&A delicacies.
So I was teasing somebody the other day. I was telling somebody, I said, it looked like my spirit likes conflict, periods of crisis, because that's when my thinking and my creative juices can be flowing. So during 2020, height of COVID, I'm sitting home this evening and I had a craving for pepper snail. And snails are a delicacy. We enjoyed eating snails back home. But again, Brenda, who in there working this now, like, but you can't go clean snail, boil it, do all that kind of thing before I start facing it. I wish there was a place in town that had processed snails where I could just, pick it up and already clean, and then I can, fix my pepper snail. So I said, okay, tomorrow I will go and check to the supermarkets. I visited a couple of supermarkets the next day, and no supermarket had snails. And I kept asking people, like, snail? The learning word, snail? I said, yeah, snail. So I sat and I said, okay. And, the thought came to me, what if it's not there? Why can't you, why not? That's the business idea. So that's how it was birthed. And I said, okay, but if we're going to do snails, processed snails, you have to be able to make sure that it's available year round, because you don't want to have your product only certain times in the year. So the first product we actually did was just a processed snail. So just clean it, package it neatly, take out all the de-shell it, de-slime it, and then boil it a little bit. And then put it in the supermarket. They had to have the processed chicken, chicken cleaned up and all of that. I contacted a friend of mine who owns a supermarket, and I said, can you carry my product? He said, yeah, sure. Got the clearance from Ministry of Health. At the time, it was under them to operate for, agriculture stuff. And yeah, that's how it started. And I was like, for it to be year round, I need to have, a steady supply of it. And that's where the farm came in. And that's not an area that is much known in Liberia, snail farming. It is an area that is multi-million-dollar in other countries. So like Ghana, Nigeria, they make millions a year from snail farming and snail export. So I was like, okay, let me research this. And that's how a couple of months later I launched the business in June or July in 2020. And then in October, we launched the farm. So we have both the farm that supplies us, and then we still source from the market and the forest. But we're able to also supply the supermarket. So I've been around since 2020, but the first year I couldn't supply the supermarkets for a full 12 months because I underestimated the demand. When I did the clean snails, we got demand, but people are like, yeah, but I wasn't like eat nah. I'm saying go over store. Just listen, I just want eat it from the back. So I like, okay, but I was not planning on doing cooking food for public because you know how it is. Some people, oh, I want pepper, oh no, it's salt, oh no, this. And we got a lot of feedback, and over time we've been able to perfect the recipe where for the most part people love the product. We now have our products in 6 or 7 supermarkets in Liberia now. Yeah. 6 or 7 supermarkets, and we've been able to successfully meet the demands of the public for 2 full years now. The first 2 years I couldn't buy January, February, then I would run out of stock. And then I would have to tell people I don't have, which was not really good because the demand, we have built a demand, but then the supply was not the same. Now we've gone 2 full years that we've been able to supply the supermarkets. With the coming today, we need 100 packs deliver. We need 70 packs deliver. We're able to meet up with the demand from the customers. And I want to say big thanks to all of my customers in Liberia and abroad, the Liberian group in particular, because they're the ones that do the bulk of the retail buying, yes, and being able to special appreciation to those who give feedback on how we can improve, because too many times Liberians, we criticize, without giving constructive criticism. They say, I like this product, but I think, what will make it better is this. I like your company, but maybe you can talk to your girls so that they tune the voice down. Give us feedback on how we can improve, because then we're able to serve you better. But most times, I try it, we're not sweet, and it's done with you without saying how you can make it better. So thanks to customers both out and in. The American base, I'm sorry, my challenge is the shipping. If I could get the shipping right here, it will be on the market. But the issue with the shipping has been, I can't ship with post office. DHL does not ship snails. UPS does, but then UPS charges like $45 for a pound. So by the time it get to you, you now want to pay $45 for $6 snail, something like that. So, but yes, J&A stands for Jebet and Adli, my mother-in-law and my mother, their first 2 initials.
Amazing. I will tell you, I ordered my snail, and it came, but I won't tell the rest of the story. I still got to eat my snail. But the thing I like about you, Brenda, is you're humble, and you're someone that's, I wanted to say you're simplistic. It's like a woman of your caliber. You're working with kids. You're building reading rooms throughout the country. You have 35 of these. And then you go and say, I want to start farming snail. Who does that?
It's all about also, you want
to be a snail farmer. And I'm telling you, not. I follow this woman. I see her. She all in a thing. She opening, she removing the nest or whatever leaves. She's checking on them, making sure they're growing. Someone is asking, how are you?
So all the Habel supermarkets, all the Stop and Shop supermarkets.
So all the Shop and Stop supermarkets is there in and I tell you, the packaging is very nice. I actually first ate, and I did eat some of Brenda snail before. Now I remember. Nathan had cooked some for me before in Tupperware.
Oh, she used to eat, yeah.
Yes. So I had some before. They're very, very tasty. They're very good. So let's continue to promote her when you're in Liberia. Do what you can. If you're on here today, you can't buy snail today, but you can you can send money to the GoFundMe. Like I said, Brenda wants. So did you ever answer the question on how many reading rooms you want to be able to?
Our goal is to cover the entire country. I want to have at least 2 in every, that was the initial plan, at least 2 in every county. We haven't been able to cover the entire country. Even we'll have 35, because sometimes the funding will come for specific location. So a family will say, I want that room in grandchildren, at this particular location because of my father, So it limits us expanding to other counties. But we don't have reading rooms yet in River G. We don't have reading rooms in Sino. We don't have reading rooms in Grand Cru. Those are locations that I would love to get funding to do additional rooms. So the plan is to cover the entire country, and then the long-term plan, the dream, the big vision is to have every district in Liberia having a KEEP reading room.
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
So if we can get to that stage where every district in the country has a KEEP library, I'll be happy.
So right now you have 35 of these the reading centers.
Yeah.
And how many counties do you have them in?
12. So
12.
except those 3 that I mentioned, River G, Sino, Grand Cru. Yes, those last far end counties. We don't have rooms there yet, but we have rooms in Grand Chile and Maryland. I have 2 libraries in Maryland County. One in People, one in Harper. Yeah.
Amazing. Let's talk about the curated gift. The woman is also a farmer. We finished with the HR. We finished with the education. We finished with the farming.
Yes.
Now, we're going back to the entrepreneurship with the snails, and now the curated gift store. Talk to us about that.
So curated, and like I told you from the very beginning, and Sis G, I'm a passionate person, and I'm intentional now about pursuing things that I find fulfilling. Woo. So it may not even be things that you may think is okay, it's lucrative. And that doesn't matter to me whether you think it's a good business idea. It matters to me whether I think it's something that will be happy, So I love art. I love traveling. I love art, African art. And every time I travel, I would buy something from that country, that particular country, to bring home some kind of art that.
Now, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I need to make sure that you're connected with Hawa Metzger and Nikita Ricks. I want to read what Hawa is saying here.
Okay.
Can someone sponsor a reading room? That's the first question.
Yes.
Brenda is saying yes, Hawa. Lady Justice Center of Liberia, she's saying yes. And then the next thing Hawa wrote is that Colorado Representative Nikita Ricks have a reading initiative in Liberia. Have she connected with you?
I met her once about a year and a half ago in December 2022, I think it was. Yes. They mentioned it, but we haven't connected. She mentioned to me that they were trying to do something similar, but we haven't spoken since.
Okay, so maybe after the show, you and Hawa Metzger, it's her name. She's the Lady Justice Center. Okay. So maybe you all can connect and then do it. Let me ask this question again. How much will it cost monthly to be a sponsor? She said, I would love to be a sponsor. How much would it cost monthly?
So there's no cost. It's free, voluntary, whatever amount that you're comfortable giving every month, we will receive it happily. We have different programs with different costs that we've broken it down into, so that people who want to say, I want to support only the reading program, this is what I'm giving towards a reading session. There are some people who will say, okay, I just want to sponsor a child for a computer literacy program. So I can share that with you, but afterwards you can share. But generally, we don't put a restriction on amount. $10 a month. So long we are confident that we're getting $10 a month over a 12-month period, I want $20. That can help with some kind of snack, some kind of transportation for some volunteer, something. Yeah, $20 a month. Again, that helps with something else too, with some cost that we have with the program.
All right. Thank you so much, Hawa. What I'll do after the show, Brenda, if you would like for me to, I will share your number with Hawa.
Sure.
So that you all can connect and you can follow up. I will also share. Thanks, Hawa, for talking about Representative Ricks. I have her number. I'll share that with you also, so that, and I will send her a text too, based on what Hawa is saying. It would be good to connect, because if we have 15 counties, correct, and you've been able to already build a reading room in 12 of them, and that's just 3 more left. I think we can partner with you, and we can see what we can do to help your work. So let's talk about the fine things.
Curated. So curated, and then I would travel and buy things. I would buy art and put it in my home or carry it to my office. And people visit and always say, "Oh, this is so nice," and I like, "Oh, thank you." And then the other thing was we're always looking for gifts for people. You know, it's somebody's birthday coming up. Sometimes you don't want you don't want something Western. You want something that people will wear. You know, something that people will appreciate. And so I said, okay, what would it mean if we had a space with a little nook, you know, with little jewelry, African jewelry, African fabrics, you know, like this mud cloth that I'm wearing, the earrings, you can go in there and just buy African gifts for somebody.
Brenda,
And that was
hold on
it.
1 second. You can keep talking. I'm gonna get some of my products so that people can
Okay.
see.
Okay. Okay. I can show. Actually, I actually have a let me see. I
Okay,
had
you
a
have
picture here with some of mine. Let me find the
to share.
um yes, I actually have a few pictures I could share, but do I know how to use this thing?
The
Papa
share
has
should
put
be at the.
myself.
Well, you see where it
Right.
says present.
Can you see my screen?
No, where it says present.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So here is an example
So
of
you share your screen, Brenda. Okay, I'm adding it to the stage. Okay. Want me to remove it? When you get there, let me know.
it's there. Some of the pictures of the jewelry. Can
Okay.
you
All
are
right.
you seeing it?
No, you have to click on it. It's not opening. It's just showing us the list.
Oh,
You gotta. We lost it.
sorry. Let me try one more time. If not, I will check it to you later.
All right.
Share
But I have
screen.
one or two things I can share. Yeah, let me also while I'm here, let me pin the link. Let me pin the link here. And you and folks, if you're on and you want to send stars, you can send stars to this show, and I'll make sure that Brenda receives whatever we royalties we get from that.
It says showing. If not, I'll just stop.
No, it's
It's
not
not.
showing. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
then let me just stop.
okay.
Okay.
All right,
No
let me pin
problem.
the GoFundMe link, and then I'll get what I have so that people can see it. GoFundMe. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I've pinned the GoFundMe, and I will be right. Brenda, you can talk to us about why you decided to start a gift shop.
Yes, like I was saying, just having a space where people could just get all African cultural things in one space. Because too many times when you want African gifts in Liberia, you gotta move around. You gotta go Waterside, you gotta go Mama Point, you gotta go, move around and find different places. So I was like, okay, what would it take to have, different arts and craft and fashionable items in one place that somebody who wants to give a gift to a friend can just come in and look for authentic leather bag or slippers or a shirt or an outfit for somebody as a gift. And that was the whole intention. And initially it was just supposed to be art, but then as we move along, we again started listening to the feedback from customers. A lot of people wanted outfits. My mom birthday coming up, you got a dress. My pa, anniversary coming or something, we want a shirt. And that's just how we started to incorporate a lot more African fashion in the space. So I have a lot of paintings, we have wood carvings, we have clothing items, we have home decor items as well. So it's the only space right now in Monrovia where you have a collection of African pieces from different countries in one space. Oh, I think she went up to get it. So yeah, so I get things from, it's not just Liberia. We also get things from Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Ghana, etc. So different pieces that people, fashionable items, and all of the things that I buy, I'm very intentional about making sure they are bought from local artists, as a way of also building and supporting our African handcraft industry as much as possible. I try to buy from. Oh, that's a beautiful piece right there. And only the hard thing about the business is not to wear all the things, not to buy too much of my own market. So myself let things.
Yes,
So
yes,
now
I have,
buy
I
the thing
have,
and be like, oh, they won't answer them. They won't answer them.
yes, I have
Yeah,
a
but I
few.
like it also, Glede, because the process of doing this makes me to make friends, to establish networks in so many African countries. I'm able to pick up the phone and call somebody in Niger and say I need additional bags. I call somebody in Ethiopia and say I need additional laptop bags. And I try again, like I mentioned, to always buy things from local artists so that it's recycling resources within the continent, so that we're supporting and appreciating the handwork of African artists.
Yeah, I think that the Curator gift store is located in is at Colony
We
Hotel.
have two locations. We have
Two.
one location at Colony Hotel, Old Palm Springs Hotel, right opposite Chancellor House, Congo Town. And then I have another location at Rehab Road, right next to the Connex gas station upstairs. So that
Okay.
location has mostly home decor items and clothes. The one at Colony has everything, the arts, the crafts, everything is in that space. A smaller space, but it has, because we have a lot more traffic there, so we have a lot more samples of different things in that space. But
Do
yeah,
you
it's
have?
it's 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 a successful business.
Yes, that's good. I love the products. I actually have a handmade leather bag for
Yes,
Brenda. I have
yes,
the clothing, one of my favorite dresses. It's from Curated. I have the clothing there. And then I also have lots of other jewelries that
yes,
I'm
you do.
getting from there. And you don't have to be in Liberia to purchase.
We ship to the
She
US.
ships, she makes sure you get it, even if she has to keep it. Find time when somebody is coming. These are durable items. I can tell you one of the necklaces I've worn once. I've had more than 10 people ask me to please I should please give them my necklace. I say, okay, I will send it. Then they ask me, I say, okay, I will
Yeah.
send it. I'll send it. But I also want to
When one post a picture, you can buy your own.
yeah. So Hawa is saying, do you have reading centers in Cape Mount, Bombing, or Grand
Cape
Cess?
Mount. I got two in Cape Mount. We
Okay.
created one at the Medina Public School. That's a school I mentioned.
Yes. Oh,
That
yes. Hawa, we
operating
were
for
not here earlier.
54
She
years.
talked about it.
Yeah, so 54 years of existence, the school did not have a library, Medina Public School. So we built a library there, a reading room there last year. And then in Tulsa is like 10 minutes outside of Robertsport. We also built the picture you keep showing, that is a reading room that's at Tulsa
Okay.
Public School in Grand Cape Mount County.
Okay. And then I think the last one was, is there one in Grand Cess?
No, we
Okay.
don't have a reading.
So maybe since there are
All the
reading rooms in
southeastern
other
counties.
ones, yeah, so maybe Grand Cess. And I will tell you that Lady Justice Center have just texted me. They've made a donation of $100.
Oh, thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you,
so much, Lady
thank
Justice.
you.
Thank you for all that you continue to do, Hawa. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
This is what this is about. It's about being supportive to the
Yeah.
initiatives being done by ordinary Liberians doing all of this. So we've had Brenda here for a while now. We've learned a lot about Brenda and what she's been able to do. A woman with her young family, very handsome and tall husband that she's not sharing. I had to add that there because you know that G's now.
Yeah.
You know that G's. But she's been able to do it. And one of the things that's also stood out is there is no sustainability when it comes to the government to have somebody develop a program in our country where they've been able to build 35 or have 35 reading rooms and not have the government be a substantive part of that program works needs a lot of encouragement to our government. We won't say everything else will be politically correct, but I think it needs to get the focus of the government to be able to help. So we want to encourage all of you. How like she said she wants the $100 she donated was to be given to Grand Cape Mount County. That far woman. So
All
Brenda,
right.
we want to thank you for everything you've done. Folks, and Brenda, we say this all the time. once you come on this platform, whenever you want to share something, if you want to start planning, I'm going to volunteer. I always do that. Sometimes I get in trouble because then the other people not involved when it comes to the. If you want to partner with us here at GBC to do not the show, not the women's show, but the GBC platform, to do a fundraiser yearly, let me know. We'll plan the time
Okay.
and we'll do it live.
Absolutely. I
We'll
will
do it
take you up
live.
on that.
Yes, every year. Just
I
let
will
us
take
know
you up.
when we will come on here. We'll invite other people. We'll do
More
a Zoom.
campaigning and do a lot of awareness.
Yes,
Yes,
we can
absolutely.
talk about it so that we can be able to before, if not by the end of the year, at least by next year
Absolutely.
this time you
This
would
year,
have.
Oma, we need
Yes,
that money for this year to
this
do the
year.
library once again.
I'm saying we need to be able to work towards completing the 3 reading rooms so that you would have been in
Yes.
the 15 counters. So please don't take us on our offer. We will spend the time 3 or 4 hours. We'll come here, we'll share stuff, we'll talk about it. Maybe some of the teachers can start talking to the children so we can we can do a whole big thing here so the children
Mhm,
can say what these reading rooms has meant to them,
mhm,
especially
mhm.
those children in the villages that now are benefiting from this. So let's plan it. Whenever you're ready, let me know. I will make the time, and GBC, our platform, will partner with you to every year to do a
Okay.
fundraiser live, and get some funding for your work
I
you're
will
doing.
take you up on that definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll continue to support you in whatever you do, no matter what it is. We appreciate all that you've done for Liberia. Please continue to keep going.
Yes.
Continue to, yeah, God's grace. Like Sis Naomi mentioned, your mother. I know she's very proud of you, and she's watching what you do. No, yes, I don't want you to leave without saying that I am very serious when I say I want us to plan something annually on this platform to be able to do a fundraiser for you.
I'm
So
not joking, your
please,
SG.
annually,
When it comes to
yes,
fundraising, I don't joke
annually
fundraising.
we
This is
want
oh,
to raise funds.
don't go
Yes.
be G with me.
So we will plan it, we'll coordinate it, we'll invite people, and we'll be a group of us on here, and we'll raise. When people can do it for politics, we can do it. We can
Yeah.
do it
Yeah.
we can do it to be able to support our young
Mhm.
people in Liberia. So I want us to be able to do that. So as we
Thank you.
leave, let me look at my notes here and see if I asked everything here. Some of the questions that I wanted to ask, how I had asked, and we got answers to them. Any what would you how would you like to close? Any closing comments?
I just want to
Yes.
say thank you for doing this. Again, not many persons would be selfless about using the platform to give that space to other people. Also, thanks to those who joined on a Saturday, to hear,
We
give
had a
me
lot of
give
people,
me
a lot of people.
motivation to share because many times we don't have that. So I want to say thank you to those who donated, those who will watch after and will be moved by this. I like to always tell people that our organization stands out because we've been credible. Our results are shown. The evidence of our work is there. We publish, besides the photo evidences that we share very broadly, we also publish our annual reports, which outlines our
Yes.
financial transactions over the years. Because of the work that we've done, because of the consistency, the authenticity with which we do the work that we do, we have received several national recognitions. Number one was we received a National Literacy Award from the government of Liberia. The second thing was there have been
Is
several
it
other
this one?
awards. No, I come into that one.
Okay, let me hold it yet.
So there are two big awards. We've received a lot of awards over the years, but the two that I am talking about right now are the one we received from the government of Liberia, the Ministry of Education, saying we recognize you, we see you, we don't have money to give you, but we appreciate what you're doing. So the government gave me a national award for the work that I'm doing. And then USAID last year decided that yes, that they selected KEEP as the civil society organization of the year. Now we all know USAID is one of the biggest um, donor organizations in the world, and so to receive this kind of recognition of the
Yes.
hundreds and thousands of NGOs operating in Liberia, for us to be recognized by USAID speaks to our the honesty with the work that we're doing, the feasibility of the work. And so if you're donating to us, you can rest assured that it's going to where it needs to go and that it's impacting the lives that it needs to be to impact. So thank you.
And I will tell you that you will get a detailed report. I've received one or two of those the emails every year. If you keep donor, you get a report on all that they're doing. But this year is 10 years, 10 years anniversary. We want to say happy 10 years, Brenda.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
want to make sure that we celebrate the 10 years anniversary by also doing the live Zoom show to raise some money. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you so.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so.
doing this. I have accomplished interviewing this woman after running the house.
And thank you for the understanding, says G, because one or two persons get offended when you try to explain what you do for your mental health, right? And one of the things that I've had to do over the years was just have a cutoff point in time for when it's family time. I do a lot, and it's so easy to always constantly bring work home. So I stopped doing that. And so if anything cannot get done before 7 p.m., it's not going to get done for me once I'm home, unless it's very, very important, because I feel like I've given the world my time all day. And so when I'm home, I want to be present with the kids. I want to be present with my husband. So most times I don't do calls or interviews after. So some people get offended. Oh, who she thinks she is? What's so much? No, not that. It's just that, yeah, if it's any time before
I will
7,
tell you what she's saying is the truth. I think and I've had so many people, like somebody was even getting upset, like, why won't you interview Brenda Brewer more? You don't see what she's doing. It's like I've had different people come at me. I say, we only know how many people I asked there one more here. I say,
you come from work, you sit down here, they on Zoom call. Yeah, and then the children, mommy, and yeah, come in. And then at what point in time do you give us you? So that's my little thing that I try to do. And then Sunday, you can't get anything out of me Sunday. Yeah, I can just sleep. So thank you so much.
Thank you to everybody. Rose, I know Rose lives in Canada, and so that's why she's asking for a
okay. So let me give you the PayPal link. Yes. So
the PayPal.
I will give it, and you can post it quickly in the.
Yes. So let me post the PayPal. But first, we want to thank you, everybody, saying thank you, blessings to you, everybody who's watching.
Thank you, everybody.
Marjorie's watching. My own son, the Reverend Princess Washington, Lorena, Carolyn is here. We've had a lot of people interacting, and they're all the way from the other side of the world.
GoFundMe link.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the GoFundMe, the PayPal link.
Okay. So the PayPal, let me see. All right. Where did you send it?
I'm trying to get it quick. I don't know it offhand.
Okay.
Okay, you can post it in the.
Yes. So what we will do is after you can send it to me, Brenda. I will create a card.
Okay.
I will create like a postcard.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So that.
Where can I give it to you? On here. Okay, I can just put it in your private chat here, right?
Yes, and then I'll paste that there.
Yeah, so that's the PayPal link.
All right, let me see. Let me copy it. Let me see if I can copy it. It's not allowing me to copy. Copy link. Okay, let me go here. Just all right. So there you go. The PayPal link is posted. So you can now you have all the stuff. What I will do after the show, I will make sure Brenda send me all the means, send me the mobile money, GoFundMe, if you have Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, whatever you have, just send it to me. And then I'll do a card that we can share around because we're feeling partnering now. We gotta have raised the funding for this. Hawa has also said that once Hawa will connect, she said when she wants to be able to volunteer to read when she get to Liberia soon. My cousin Vida is here. Vida Dennis Emoja is here. Thank you everybody for watching. It's been a very good almost 2 hours here. I could talk to this woman forever.
Thank
forever.
you, Sis G.
But we want to thank you. Please share the show so that people can see this is a young Liberian woman.
I'm about the young Pabo.
I know about the young because I'm older than she is. So I'm gonna say the young.
What's your
This is
we
a very, let me add, I will even add the very, very young and beautiful. So now the woman that I follow me, I see her, she be on the train, me, I say, the woman that don't bring people out. But she's been able to build with her team and people that volunteer, the donors, 35 reading centers, reading rooms in 12 counties out of the 15. We want to partner with her to make sure that by the end of this year, at least she will have been able to either identify the areas for those three so that by next year, this time, she would have completed all 15 counties. This is amazing. Some of the children have not been able to, some of the children have never seen the library before. And this is what they get to see in the villages. They get to see these buildings. Brenda is also an author. She's written 5 books. Oh, I forgot to talk about one book. I'm sorry. I know I said we were ending, but I want to talk about this book,
Living Legend.
Living Legends. I want to talk a little bit about it before. There's a book that Brenda wrote, Living Legends, where it highlights women, but it also more to it, it highlights Liberian women or women who've done some great things, and she recognized them in her book. So let's talk a little bit about that book before we.
So Living Legends it was and it still is important to me. It's supposed to be a 3-part series, part 1, 2, and because there were just too many people to do in one book. And also it's a fundraising mechanism as well. So you can't do everything one time. But the idea was there are so many women that are doing really great work that we don't always get to know because we don't operate in the same circles, or they just don't talk about the work that they do. So many women are shy about their accomplishments. We tend to have imposter syndromes. We tend to downplay what we do. And I thought that it would be a great way for us to recognize people from all walks of life, women from all walks of life who have contributed or done something to make Liberia better in their own little way. And so that particular book 1 features, I think, 55 women. The idea is to cover 150 women over time.
150, okay.
Yes, and that was just book 1. So some people go, that's why I'm not in the book. I say, yeah, but I still book 2 and 3 to come. Oh, so don't worry too much.
So there goes somebody is actually, there goes your question is answered, Larina. She said she needs to go back to put you in Hawaii in that book.
Yeah, the book 2 and 3 still there, and it was beautiful for me because I also got to learn about the stories of some amazing women. Some of the people I didn't even know. I just asked for recommendations, and then we'll screen through and read the stories and all of that. And we have young people there, we got older people, and it was just amazing hearing about how collectively as women, Liberian women, we've been able to lift up Liberia in some, whether it's the medical field, legal field, whether it's the activism field, whether it's the education field, just making significant progress. Because so many times you hear about the exploits of the men, which is good, it's history, but they're also amazing women. And then lastly, too often we give people the flowers when they're dead and they can't hear it. And so I wanted to create this space where we recognize people while they're still living, let their work be appreciated, let them be acknowledged, let them hold space and be able to say, you know what, you're right, I did this, and thank you for that recognition. And so that's why I do the books.
Thank you.
That's why I did that book.
Yes, thank you for all that.
Thank you too.
All that you continue to do, serving Liberia, laboring for Liberia, and still keeping yourself very beautiful. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Folks, there you have it. We've been talking to Brenda Brewer Moore. Isn't that amazing? This woman has done so much. All we can do is commit to be a partner, even if it's $5, No amount is too small to see a woman with no government funding start a program during the Ebola time where she felt the need to help people in her immediate community, because she said she was reading to her kids, she was teaching her children, but she felt the need and said, can you imagine, I'm here helping my children and the other children in the community, no one's reading to them. And that's how Keep was birthed. Keep was birthed because she felt that there was a need for her to help the children in the community. So how she started first, she used to do reading assignments, write stories, print it on paper, take it to the communities, divide it with the children. This is Ebola time. Exposing herself and other volunteers to getting infected with Ebola. They will take the paper out. They will come back the following week, collect them, see how the children did, give them some perks for completing the assignment. This is Ebola time, where some of us would not have even wanted to come outside. Brenda Brewer Moore, this woman is a force. She's a number one hero. She's a hero in my world. She started this. She's done a lot. And now they have 35 reading rooms. 35 reading rooms in Liberia in 12 counties. Some of the places, sometimes you see Brenda, she in a car, they get stuck in the mud. Some places she go, there's no bathroom. Some places she go, the classrooms, there are no windows. I have followed Brenda for years. I've also was a donor to be able to help the work she's doing. We can do a lot together. She's done a lot. She didn't stop there. During Ebola, she started this. 10 years. She is going to be celebrating. They're going to be celebrating 10 years this year. 10 years. Keep will be 10 years old. And like Brenda said, no amount is too small. Keep will be 10 years. They will be celebrating in July, their 10th year anniversary. We have to support this. Imagine the magnitude of children, the number of kids benefiting from this initiative. Brenda, you heard her when she started the program. Some of the children were in 5th and 6th grade. They couldn't read. And so that's what led her to starting the reading room. And they started the reading room during COVID. They started the make sure that kids start reading and all of this. And during COVID again, they started another project where I think she said they have intense learning for some children, people that are dropped out of school. So they have a program that they teach them, bring them back into the school yard. A woman has done this. And this is the month of March. We celebrate Brenda Brewer Moore. You have the link to the PayPal after the show. I'm going to put all of that together so that you can make a donation. We on this platform, we at GeesBeeCee Corporation, we connect. I want to make sure I move my head so you can read the stuff. We connect, we share, we impact. This is why this platform was started in 2019. We want to be able to support Keep. We want to be a partner of Keep to help them to fundraise. If you're here and you haven't made a donation, you can Google Keep GoFundMe. Make a donation today. Let's support. Not only is Brenda, was she just not only just a guest today, Brenda is actually our chosen person of the year on GBC. She is the woman of the month of March that we've dedicated our page to. And for the entire month of March, we've had Brenda as our profile, as our face out there. And today you had an opportunity to hear her and hear the work that she's done. To all of you who's been watching, we want to say thank you. We appreciate you. Look, don't get tired. Sometimes it's tiring. Sometimes it's discouraging. Sometimes people will beat you up. Don't get beat up. Someone is saying here, let me just read a few comments and thank people that have been watching. Beatrice has been watching. Thank you, Beatrice. Nay is here. Nay, I also spoke about the first time I had Brenda snail, J&A delicate said snail. I had it because I ate some of your tabagi. I love food, my people. Faustina is watching. Sis Harriet, thank you. Samela Brownell Torp is here. Naomi, sis Naomi, we have to connect. Thank you, Beatrice Kanga Gray. My own brother, Fred Bass, thank you. Thomas Swallow, thank you. Sis Harriet Sylvester. We have to be able to help. We have to be able to support Brenda. Brenda Masede. Brewer Mo. Tabasa Neo Masede. Brewer Mo. I have been following you since my first encounter with you at the Marilla Simmons Reading Room, my grandniece. Keep up the great work. Thank you for watching. But we are not going to have an impact on this platform if we do not partner with Brenda and support Keep to ensure that by next year, this time, she would have been able to complete all a reading room in all 15 counties. She's almost there. There's only 3 left, 3 counties left. I know we can do this. I know we can do this. If you want to be a part of the fundraising that GBC is going to do for Brenda, for Keep, please send me your name. When we plan it, we want to be able to have 10 people, men and women, where we're going to take calls and raise funds for Keep. She's done the work. She's put in the time. What we can do now as a people is to lift up her hands and say thank you. Thank you for watching, folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's a rainy day all over. I have to go somewhere later that it's raining, but you know, when you have family members and they invite you to things, you don't have a choice. Liberia first. We love Liberia. We want to continue to support the work of Liberia. I am so proud of the work that Keep has done. To Brenda and her team, we want to say thank you. Thank you, Brenda Brewer Moore, for all that you've done. Thank you to your husband. Thank you to your children for tolerating you, especially during the time when we had Ebola and COVID. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you on Thursday, but if there's a need to promote something else, we here at GBC will do a live show. We'll do a show to do that. And this is Glendy Jane Jr. signing off from this episode of the Women with Words show on GBC.